My name is Lucia, and if you hear my story, you might understand why I move the way I move. Why I keep my hands where they can be seen, why I sleep with one eye half open. It is a long road, full of sun, full of shadows, and full of decisions that cannot be taken back. I was born under a heat that made the pavements breathe. The city smelled of fried plantains and motor oil, of bleach and salt from the sea. My earliest memories are bright. My mother's laugh in the kitchen, the radio clinging to old songs while she folded shirts, the way light rimmed the edges of paper fans in the window like small halos. We lived in a building that leaned toward the harbor, stacked apartments like steps. From our balcony, you could watch the tide take things away and bring new things in. A useful lesson for a child, though I didn't know it yet. My father was a name everybody spoke around corners. Sometimes he would appear like a rumor, a coin in the palm or a warning whispered over the fence. He taught me one lesson without meaning to, that absence can be a kind of curriculum. I learned to keep my appetite small, my questions smaller. I learned to read people the way some people read books, by the way their shoes scuffed, by the way their shoulders softened when they lied. There were choices as early as 10, which alley to cut through to save time, which neighbor to trust with borrowed tools, which story to tell the teacher when my homework was not done. Those small decisions seemed harmless then, but they started the pattern. You make a choice to survive today, and that same choice becomes a brick in a wall you don't notice until it shadows your whole life. I remember the first time I touched someone else's car. It wasn't violent, not at first. It was curiosity and hunger rolled into one. A piece of chrome that reflected me thin and different. We were kids then, daring each other, racing along the empty piers until someone dared us to take the fastest route home. The car smelled of old leather and dreams. I slid behind the wheel like it belonged to me, and for a moment, I tasted the idea of being untouchable. That taste is dangerous. It stays in you. There were people who taught me how easy the world can become once you stop pretending you belong to it. A cousin who had a laugh like a gunshot taught me how to pocket things without looking guilty. A woman named Rosa taught me how to count bills under the table and how to fold a lie into something that sounds like charity. They gave me tools and a map, but they never gave me a moral compass. I had to fashion that myself, out of spare threads and stubbornness.
Love, when it came, arrived as a mistake I accepted. It was not the tidy, romantic thing in movies. It was a set of late-night compromises, a map folded into back pockets, a driver's seat shared in rain. I learned that love could be strategy, a cover. I learned that sometimes the person you love becomes a reason and an anchor at once. They can keep you steady or drown you both. I lost people because I loved them. I lost people trying to keep them safe. Those losses teach you a different vocabulary, the language of silence, the grammar of regret. The city is honest about one thing: the sun will burn what the night softens. Daylight shows every compromise for what it was. There were moments I thought I could buy my way out with enough cunning, enough money, enough favors, but money is a mirror that only reflects what you already have inside. The more I chased freedom, the tighter the world tightened around my wrists. I learned the cruel arithmetic. For every gain, there is a ledger. And for every ledger, there are names written in ink that never fades. And there were choices I could not take back. I know the weight of that sentence intimately. There were nights when I made decisions not because I wanted to, but because someone else's life hung in the balance. There are decisions I made in the smell of diesel and hot metal, with someone whispering my name like a plea. Later, I would replay those decisions like a film with no ending, searching for a different frame where the mistake unravels. It never did. With each choice came consequence. A friend who looked at me with a new calculation in their eyes. A lover who learned the shape of my secrets. A small kindness that turned into obligation. Alliances became chains, and chains became routines. I became expert in moving between them. The deals that needed a smile, the betrayals that needed a poker face. Survival builds habits you do not notice until you try to stop them.
But listen, do not mistake my tone for resignation. There is stubbornness inside me that is not elegant. It is the kind of stubbornness that keeps a person breathing on a stretch where others would give up. I have crawled over pride and through shame. I have measured the worth of a single evening of peace against a lifetime of running and sometimes chosen peace. and sometimes chosen to keep running. Both choices left their marks. There are people who will tell you I am hard, cold, unfeeling. They will point to headlines and quick judgments, and they will not hear the quiet part of the story. That behind every hardness is a soft place, learned to be protected. That the things I did were not born out of malice alone, but out of a calculation. How to keep the people I loved breathing, and how to keep a roof that did not leak onto their hair. That does not erase harm, it only complicates it. If you stay with me, I will tell you about the streets that raised me, the markets and the mansions, the neon and the old churches, the people who moved like weather. I will tell you about the deals that felt inevitable and the ones that were traps in plain clothes. I will tell you about a betrayal that smelled like perfume and a friendship that tasted like blood. I will tell you about the moment I crossed the line I had sworn never to cross, and about the echo that followed. This story is not a plea for sympathy. It is an offering of truth as I remember it. And as truth often does, it will be messy. It will sit under a bright sun and in the deepest shadow. It will ask you again and again what you would have done with my choices in your palms. Breathe with me now. Hear the city hum beyond the windows. Let the night settle its questions for a while. When you are ready, I will begin at the part where the harbor took a man I loved and left me with a decision so small and so terrible that its consequences unfurled for years. I will speak softly because some things are louder when whispered. My name is Lucia. This is how it began.